Hello everyone, my name is Ilhan Omar and I will be your host tonight. I want to start off first thanking all of you for joining us. I do apologize that we are running a little bit late, so I promise to keep this show on the road and make sure to have it be timely for the next hour or so that we have. I'm also told that there's supposed to be a meal that would arrive soon. So we're going to have dinner as well. So we are here on a Sunday night, 8 p.m., to celebrate women. Imagine another community or a group of people that are worth celebrating. As a woman, it's a huge honor for me to be here in a room full of people to be celebrating the achievements of women, the struggles, and the successes. So tonight we're joined by women that are leaders in all aspects of life. We've got elected politicians who are first of their kind in their elected fields. We are going to be joined by women business leaders. We're going to be joined by young women. There's going to be a panel later on that is going to be inspirational in the sense that we will be discussing what it means to be a young woman in the United States and walk with an intersectional identity and still want to stand and lead as a young woman. So before we get into the program, I'm going to invite Ayan Ise, who's the founder of the organization that is hosting us tonight, Women Child Safe Center. She will be doing a little welcome. Ayan Ise, come on.
Hello everyone, welcome to Women Child Safe Center International Women Day event. Tonight is a special night for women. Tonight we celebrate achievement of women. Tonight we celebrate achievement of women right here in our community. Mothers, wives, teachers, politicians, ladies, doctors, students, they are what's holding together this community and this country and this world. Tonight, you will hear many speakers who will speak to you about the issue such as mother, healthy education, leadership, commerce and cultures, and arts. I am Ayan Ise, Executive Director of Women Child Safe Center. Welcome and welcome again. Enjoy. This is a woman's night. It's not a man's world. Walaalayaal ku soo dhawaada dhammaan 8 maarso oo maalin taariikh inoo ah aanu celebrate gareynayno maalintii hooyooyinka. Reasonka aan u celebrate gareynayno waxa waaye in aan ogaano taariikhdeeni, especially young people inay ogaadaan inay taariikh iyo hiddo lahaayeen iyo soo jireen ah oo hooyooyinku ay maaragtay qaar duuliyaal ahaayeen, qaar ay military ku jireen, qaar dhaqaatiir ahaayeen. So runtii dad badan aa jooga hore iiga horeeyay oo ka hadli doona, marka waa idin soo dhaweynaya, aadna u mahadsantihiin.
So next, we're going to have Saeeda Shai. She will be doing an introduction, an explanation of what Women Child Safe Center does. Saeeda Shai is the Vice President of Women Child Safe Center. She's also Juvenile Justice Committee Commissioner And
that goes to Ilhan as well. Talk about mother and power and leadership and all that. Ilhan, that goes to you too, sister, and we should celebrate not only you, not only me, but a lot of powerful women who are sitting here, like Rena and Rebecca and a lot of people who are here. But let's not forget our men. So we have, even though we're celebrating Women's Day, we still have, the room is also full of men. So that's honor, actually. It's honor. So thank you so much. Once upon a time, Somalia was a land of boats. It was the land that people far and wide travel just for vacation. People that treated one another as though they were blood, brother and sister. Somewhere along the line, though, something changed. Something evil entered our land. As a fact, as a result, that's the reason why we are here in this beautiful country. That's the reason we have so many Somalis, not only in America, but around the world. Now, is that good or bad? There's a lot of benefits and there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages to that. But at the end of the day, what we know is everywhere we go, we have our needs. The need to be able to live, the need to be able to get education, health, and maneuver the world around us. That's why we have Women Child Safe Center. So Women Child Safe Center is an organization, non-profit organization that have been working in and out of the state, in Minneapolis, in St. Paul, in the state, but at the same time, most of the work is back home in the country, Somalia. There has been a lot of issues when it comes to Somali women. There has been a lot of issues that we have. Somali women are dying because there's no maternity hospitals. A lot of Somali women are dying because there is no simple nutrition meals. And you have people who are going all over the country without having one of the basic needs, such as water, such as food, such as health and education. Someone needs to do something about it. And that's what Women Child Safe Center is all about. Is to help spread an awareness about the disparities that exist in our women. But we cannot have a woman without community. We cannot have kids without a mom and dad. That is a community. And that's why Women Child Safe Center is going to help the holistic of the community, the family. Its mandate is to improve lives, especially women and children, in terms of education, empowerment, employment, and giving the right way, the right hand to lead. That's why you have Ayan, that's why you have Hodan Hello, that's why you have Ilhan, to figure, though we're not the best, but at least there's something we can offer. And that's the reason why we're here. Women Child Safe Center have been to Somalia. Ayan, who's the president of it, is sitting right here, went to Somalia. She has seen in first hand so many women who are dying because of that. She did an assessment for 10 magacile in Somali. I'm sorry, it's a Somali. It has a Somali name. It's not easy to remember that. But 10 different areas they call, like, it's not maternity, but it's something else. But around in that area, and figure out what are women doing, how are they getting treated, what are the best practices, and what she found is that most of the hospitals don't even have a bed. Most of the hospitals don't even have a examination table. There's no immunizations. There's no, someone can die just because no one can stop the clot. Just a simple thing as that. And that's why what Women Child Saving Center is able to do, and did actually, is to send some medical equipment, such as hospital beds, wheelchairs, first aid kit, examination tables, walkers, and many other supplies. That was one of the earliest projects that we had. Last Thanksgiving, we have a big event here. We were trying to create money, to raise money to send that. And that was one of the things that we did in the beginning. And this is the second time, actually, that we have the second event in what, 3-4 months, actually. And because of Ayan's leadership and all the other women who are participated to help us, we have this beautiful event today to not only celebrate women and women's leadership and women's power and Women's Day, but also to make sure that
Thank you, Saida. Speaking of holding the world together, I was just having a conversation yesterday about the value of women, and the conversation was between a man and between me and this young man who is a lobbyist for the state that works at the state of Minnesota, and he was saying that he considered himself a feminist. And I said, well, that's interesting. Why do you support women? And what do you think stops other people from, from supporting women and empowering women? And something that he said to me was, I think for the first time I heard it and I hadn't really thought about it, was that he said, when a woman does better, we all do better. And I said, that's interesting, but say more. And he said, I've got sisters. And if my sisters aren't feeling as powerful as I feel, that means I have to do more. But if my sisters can stand on their own, I feel like I only need to worry about me because they can do for themselves. And so this societal idea that, women are supposed to be less, right? That women are supposed to be taken care of, that they're just mothers, that they're 50%, that they're less than, doesn't really benefit society, right? Because if you think of them as a whole, then it makes everybody feel whole. And I thought that was interesting because I had never thought about it that way. So our next speaker we'll be talking about women's health and awareness. Elham Askar is a health specialist at Bloomington Public Health, managing the statewide health improvement program. She has a background in health management and public health. Please help me welcome Elham Askar.
Such an event. We were just sitting at the booth there and something really caught my attention, which is, how did Bloomington Public Health end up here at a Minneapolis event? And so I thought, I don't really understand how it all works. I've only been here for maybe 2.5 years now. I'm originally from Toronto, Canada, and so it's amazing to see how everybody has come together here in Minneapolis, in Minnesota in general. At Bloomington Public Health, I'm a health specialist and currently work with mainly the statewide health improvement program, which is a grant funded to local public health agencies. Okay, I'm told to speak louder, so I'll just get down a little bit. So I work with the statewide health improvement program, and it's a grant funded by the state, which allows us to work with innovative health promotion and prevention activities that benefit the community. And now, when I say that, I mean, think about innovative things. So we don't want to talk about specific programs, but rather working with faith-based organizations like our local mosques and churches, working with schools, working with local food shelves, and it's an awesome opportunity to also work with these organizations to make it more culturally appropriate because our environments have changed. We don't look like the typical white Minnesotan. And so there's a lot of Somali people in Bloomington. There are a lot of Latinos in Richfield. And so Bloomington primarily works, all of the public health activities we work with include both Bloomington, Richfield, and Edina residents. Now in Bloomington Public Health, we have our immunization clinics. We have our public health nurses who go into the homes and do family home visiting. We have cancer screening, breast and cervical cancer screening for women. We have our follow along program and all these other child development programs that work with or look at our children from infants all the way up to pre-K around child development. And so just working at Bloomington Public Health, I've realized that a lot of the women who have babies, and then we have all of our nurses going into the homes, and a lot of our Somali women in particular don't want the nurses to come into their homes. And so we always have translators, and maybe translators are not always the best use of our money or resources. And I'm happy to say that now we have hired 3 Somali peer counselors, which is awesome, who come into our WIC clinics. We have Yahya, who has come on board in our emergency preparedness division, who works with our communities around preparing for emergencies and natural disasters. And so there's a host of different resources again, in our community. The biggest thing is, how do we connect to these resources? How do we gain access to them? Who do we go to? Who do we speak to? And all we want is to speak to our own kind. And I encourage you to go out, be part of these community events, be able to take part, provide the input. And that's really my goal here at Bloomington Public Health, is to reach out to all of you, go beyond just our Bloomington, Richfield, and Edina boundaries, and be able to take part in all these community initiatives and be able to not only take part in this, but also be part of the work plan, be part of everything that's happening so our voices can be heard and that our needs can be addressed. I just want to say, in Bloomington, we have our Human Services Department, Emily, who's sitting also over there. We have a representative from our Human Rights Commission, Jessica. We also have an opening in our Human Rights Commission for a representative. So please, I highly encourage a Bloomington resident, actually. That's also my second disclaimer, is to have a Bloomington resident be a part of that. And also, in our Emergency Preparedness Department, Yahya, who's a part of the Community Emergency Response Team. Now that is working with community representatives in terms of being part of this community emergency response team to learn how, it's a 3-day class, it's to learn around how to manage emergencies and natural disasters, and so we're looking for people to sign up on that. So our table is over there, we can get you guys more information. I thank you for your time, and thank you, Ayan, for allowing me to be a part of this.
Thank you, Ilhan Askar, my Sami. So I want to remind you all that there's food coming, and we're going to continue to have the speakers. So I want you to be respectful and not make a lot of noise so that we're able to hear the speaker, and the speaker could also feel respected in that sense. waxaan idinka codsanaynaa in cuntada marka la idin keenaya isku daydiin in hadalka iyo sheekaynta ay yareysiin sidii qofka hadlaaya aan xushmad u dareemo idinkana aad u maqashaan waxa uu idinku soo talagalay in uu idin la share gareeyo mahadsanid. So our next speaker is Representative Rena Moran. Rena Moran is Minnesota. She represents St. Paul District 65A in the Minnesota House of Representatives. Representative Rena Moran is the first Black representative to be elected in St. Paul. She's also the first ever black woman to be elected in the state of Minnesota. She's also the only one currently elected. So let's help us welcome Representative Rena Moran.
Hello, everyone. I am so thankful and honored to be here this evening to help you celebrate women. That's just so powerful, you know. So Women International Day is a global day celebrating women around the world for their economic, their political, and their social achievement of the past, the present, and the future. International Women's Day honors the work of many of you in this room. Do we have not some powerful women in this room? Yes, we do. Absolutely, we do. I would say some like Saida, Ilhan, absolutely, powerful women, Rebecca Otto, Karen, and so many of you. And you know, I am a true believer that women can be as powerful as we are with the support of so many others. So I thank the men in this room for showing up and helping us celebrate the work of women. International Women's Day is about the work of many of women today and of the past who fought, who struggled, who created some a revolution so that the inequities that face so many women of the past and the present will be brought to light so that we could create a change for the better lives of the women and the children. As your state legislator, I introduced House File 212, which was the Equal Right Amendment. The Equal Right Amendment was memorializing Congress to remove the deadline for the ratification of the proposed Equal Right Amendment to the United States Constitution by the states. So what did this mean? As long as women are not specifically recognized in the Constitution, women, and even more so, women of color, will continue to encounter double standards in the laws regarding pay inequities, the lack of justice regarding domestic and sexual violence, and child care. So we still need ERA, which is the Equal Rights Amendment. According to the 2014 report by the U of M Humphrey School Center of Women in Public Policy and the Minnesota Women Foundation, in Minnesota, the income gap for women is still there. So we have, the income gap is 20% for white women. It is 26% for Asian American women. It is 38% for African American women and American Indian women, and it's 43% for Latino women. And I know women, we work hard. We work hard, you know, and it's only fair that we are paid at the same rate that men are paid for the same work. So ever-increasing numbers of working women in Minnesota are the primary, we are so often the primary breadwinner of the family. So currently, the only right name in the Constitution for women is the right to vote. And even that is being constantly eroded because last year there was 92 bills that were offered in states that would make voting more difficult. The U.S. is one of only three industrialized countries in the world that has no pay for maternity leave. So we are there are 2 times as many women as men over the age of 50, or over the age of 65 who live in poverty. 3/4 of tip workers are women, and they are 7 times more likely to live in poverty than non-tip workers. And 2/3 of the minimum wage earners are women. So it is really important that we look at making pay equity more fair. And so as we look at the accomplishments of women of the past and the present and the future, we still have so much to do. We've come a long way. We are moving every single day, but there is still work to do. And I am confident with the women, that I see leading these days, that we're going to get there. We're going to make it. And we're going to create a more fair and just world so that women can be and will be valued as much as our counterparts. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Rena Moran. One more applause for Representative Rena Moran. So our next speaker is the state auditor. She's Minnesota State Auditor Rebecca Otto. Rebecca has recently become sort of like a sister to the Somali community. And it was probably one of the first people to respond to say yes to come. And so we're grateful to have her. Thank you. So please help me welcome Rebecca Otto, State Auditor.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm so happy to be with all of you here tonight. And thank you so much for being so quiet, because I'm going to share a special story with you. This is International Women's Day, and I do want to thank all the men that are here tonight, and that you support us, and that we all work hard together to make sure we have great communities and that our families are healthy and strong. Here's my story. I had two strong women in my life, and I know some of us grew up in different places, and we had different experiences, but we're all human beings. We all have hearts, and we all had really the same needs. So my mom and my grandma, what they did with me when I was a little girl is they told me that I could be anything someday. And I know not all little girls are told that, but I was. My grandma was one of the earliest women to graduate from Johns Hopkins Medical School when women just didn't get to go to school like that. And she told me stories about how rare that was and how she had to study away from the men. She wore long sleeves, a long skirt. You know, you covered yourself, you covered your neck and everything. And so one time a man saw her ankle and she said it was very embarrassing because it was a very modest time. It was a very long time ago in where she lived. But she had great dreams for me, and she supported me as a young girl. And she had very high standards for me, and she put a lot of love and energy into me. In fact, she had me write to the President of the United States when I was 8 years old, just a girl. And she made me type it on her typewriter because she said my handwriting was very bad. And I wrote a letter about an issue, and I got a letter back. And their administration took action based on what an 8-year-old girl wrote. Now talk about empowering a young girl and giving her ideas about how she might be able to impact her government. My grandma instilled that in me as a very young girl. My mother was a single, many people don't know this about me, so I'm sharing it with you because I feel like you're my family. My mother was a single mother of 4 children, and she worked and struggled to keep us fed, clothed, and safe. And later in life, she remarried, and she was able to pay for my college education, because she knew how important that was going to be to me in my life. But the funny thing was with my mom, is she never told me what I should be someday when I grew up. And I'd say to her, Mom, what do you think I should be? And she'd say, you can be whatever you want to be. But that didn't help me. And I had doubts and I had indecision. And my mother said to me this, and I think this is the most empowering thing for us as women and our girls. She said, no matter what you do in your life, you will be important, because everybody is important. Everyone makes our world and our society works. Whether you deliver the mail, you're a pharmacist, maybe you're someone who takes care of children in the neighborhood, that we're all important, and we can all make a difference. Now, she had confidence in me, I'm not sure why, but she had a lot of confidence in me, and she said, you're going to be fine. You're going to do a good job when you get out into the world. And now look where I am. I'm the state auditor of the state of Minnesota. But I did not get here alone. I got here with the help of my sisters. I got here with the help of my brothers. I got here with the help of my abayo. Yes, I did. All of my abayos. And I have learned a few things. I have learned to never shy away from asking for help. Because my brothers have helped me when I ask for help, and my abayos have helped me when I've asked them for help. And you know what? Some of the people that have climbed the ladder in life didn't get there by themselves. Somebody reached down and helped lift them up that ladder. And so when we get to a place in life where we've succeeded, we have to reach down and lift our sisters and brothers up that steep ladder of life so that we can all be successful and we can all do good things in our world. Because we need to build the next generation of leaders, including our young women. Now, as we all know, not all girls and women have access to education, health care, a safe home, or a safe community. They need access to education, adequate food and nutrition, safety in home and community. They're all basics that we all need to thrive and survive. So my grandma, how did she make a difference? Well, she championed me and tried to build me into who I was. She also she sent me to school, but what we did is when she had resources, we began to take in children in the community who had been badly abused, who needed a safe place to go. So in my house, we had children come in that were in danger of their lives, and we took care of them, and so that was a good experience for me. So I'm going to close now because I know Ilhan is ready to move on to the next speaker, but we all can continue to work together to be leaders, to make sure we have strong communities, that we grow the next generation of young women. And we can do this by reaching out, giving advice, maybe giving a helping hand, all those things we can do to make sure that we have strong communities and strong families. And thank you again to Ayan and Saido for putting this program together tonight, and thank you for having me. Good night.
Is Hodan Abdullah. Habon Abdullah. Habon is going to speak on women empowerment. Habon is a PhD student. She's doing her gender studies, a PhD candidate in gender studies. Her research is on Somali women and political participation. She is also a 2013 Bush Fellow. So on a personal note, Habon is one of my mentors. And mentors are really important to women. But the one thing that's interesting about the way that Habon mentors is that she tells you that nothing is impossible. I talk to her often and she says, Ilhan, you need to stop asking for permission, right? She says, women often ask for permission. Ilhan, you need to stop asking for permission. You need to do what you want to do and not worry about anyone. And that's why I love Habon. I'm so excited you all get to hear her. Habon Abdullah.
I was saying that I would like to thank Ayan and Ise and Hodan, Saeeda Shaiye, and all the people that are behind Women Child Safe Center, and because it's important. We always need to go behind and work with women organizations where we can empower between us and help those that are in need. I would also like to thank those who helped tonight's event. And gentlemen, thank you for being here. We really need your support. It means a lot. And my name is Habon Abdullah. I'm passionate about women and politics. And I'm studying. It's a part of all my fellowship. I wanted to see more Somali women be in position of either political office or in decision making. That's what we need. We need to work harder. We need to make possible and help, as just Ilhan said, to tell all these young women that they need to run for office and they have our support. Please, let's do that. I am a 2013 Bush Fellow. My project is about how to encourage Somali women to run for public office, as I just shared with you, and gain public influence so they can make positive change in their community. I believe that politics is an important aspect in the life of minority immigrant women because of the unique needs and the policy implications that come with that. Thomas Dye, the president of Lincoln Center for Public Service and professor at Florida State University, defines the public policy as, quote, whatever the government chooses to do or not to do. If the need of women, if the need of immigrant women are not articulated, are not shared, the government will not do nothing. And that's where Somali women comes to. That's why we need to elect more women in office. That's why we need more women in committees. That's why we need more women in decision-making positions. Somali women are not detached from the mainstream community life. Women participate in a variety of institutions in Minnesota, such as trade unions and healthcare and schools, and so on and so forth. However, the public and the leadership position does not reflect these women and those that are getting the service. Therefore, most of the time, the voice of these women that can help define a problem for public policy reason is not heard. Additionally, if there are more women representatives, they can be a bridge between different women community. Most of the time we don't know what other community need and how some of our requests for solutions can affect these women. I will give you an example. 2 years ago, I interviewed, it's a part of my dissertation, interviewed Somali women. And among these women was a mother of 7, and her children was between 3 and 10 years old of age. Her husband is a truck driver. He spends most of the time on the road so he can support his family. And the things that these women, particularly these participants, was highlighting often was how she would like to have shorter school and shorter summer vacation. Because she shared that she is unable to help with homework during the summertime, and she struggles. And one of the things she noticed was that much of the reading and writing of her children were lost during summertime. The same night, at the news, they were airing the interview of a mother that lives in Edina. This mother was debating if there is going to be the possibility to have a longer school year. These women did not know each other, and they were standing the two poles of the problem. The solution of the problem of the Somali mother will affect somehow the mother of Edina. She was American Caucasian mother. And this mother articulated her reason for needing to have her 2 months of vacation. She said, I work hard, I work 10 months a month, I want to spend quality time with my children and husband. And that's why I need vacation time. Somali mother, she needs short vacation time because she cannot help her children. Somali mother did not know how to ask help, did not know where to go, did not know who is representative of her school. The mother, Dinah, she was aware what was going on. She was aware that there is a pilot project in 5 states in the United States where they are already experimenting the shorter school year. She was building her base on how to prevent that, to come to Minneapolis. Now, these two women, the Somali woman lived in Savage. This other woman is Edina. Granted that they are in 2 different district schools, but they can move to each other district school. This woman's life can cross, they don't know each other. I'm 100% sure if this woman can come together, they will find a solution for their problem. But they don't know each other. There is not a platform that can help these women to how these women can come together, so on and so forth. But we see that there is a discrepancy, there is a power, political power inequality right there. One woman needs what she needs, how to go, how to prevent. The other woman, no. We need to have more Somali women to run for office.
So another woman, and I'm, going to do this because I can, I've got the mic, is my sister, Sahar Noor. She was named 40 under 40 for the Minnesota Business Journal. So if you all also welcome me and give her a round of applause. She's sitting all the way in the back and waving no to this. So very modest woman. They don't even want to get up and achieve their accolades. So the next woman that we're going to have speak to us tonight is Farhia Farah. Farhia is a business owner here in the Twin Cities, and she's going to speak on women in business and ownership. Farhia works as a consultant with Glow, a consulting and research, a passionate public health practitioner, vested in the vitality of health and well-being of Somali Minnesotans. Please help me welcome Farhia.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'd like to first and foremost give my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers of this event, Ilhan, Saeed, and Ayan. I feel truly humbled and privileged to have been invited here tonight to give just 2-3 minutes talk on the successes, challenges of the Somali woman. First and foremost, I stand as a Minnesotan woman, as a Somalian woman, in solidarity on this great night in their fight for human rights, dignity of the woman, and the fight for equality. When I think about women and the Somali women, and thinking about them in the context of the pre-Civil War and post-Civil War, I think, coming to this event, I told my sons that I'm going to International Women's Nights, and I welcomed them to come down with me. And they said, no, I don't want to go to a women's event. And I really wish I brought them here, because the fact that we have almost as many men as women in here is a testimony that the face of the Somali woman has changed. The post-Civil War, the Somali woman has, in the midst of all the struggles and the challenges she has experienced, has harvested the opportunities that have been laid out to her. When I think about a Somali woman 20 years ago at the onset of Civil War, when havoc broke down, and I must say we didn't have a lot of Somali women politicians, and I'm not going to throw blames, but Somali women are the ones who, and in every war, they're the ones who suffer the significant consequences of these problems. 20 years ago, I remember seeing this young woman with 3 children. And she was in Nairobi, didn't have a lot of money. She was living with a family relative. And that woman will wake up every morning and go to downtown. She would beg the other Somali businesses that sell clothes, ask for a few pieces of clothes to sell. She'll take a plastic bag and put it on the floor and sell those items. And at the end of the day, the little pennies she collects, she will go home and give it to her kids. 10 years later, this woman, who started off with such humble beginnings, advanced to have not only her own store, but she will fly to the Middle East and bring in wholesale products. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an incredible, it's amazing for me when I see the resilience, the determination, the hard work of the Somalian women in the business field in trying to hold together something that is so broken, the energy that they come with. Women are the ones who harness the future generation. Somali women have proved themselves in the last 20 years, the kind of fibers they come in from. They have high spirit, high determination, and commitment to their families and well-being. Post-war, coming to Minnesota, it's no exception. You go to the Somali malls, you will see a lot of Somali women and many, many businesses. And mind you, the Somali women have come into a new country with new rules, with English difficulties, with new culture, an area where it's not the same race, with different religion, and yet she succeeded. You know, it's the spirit of this woman that has managed to help her succeed. And if we invest in that spirit, in this woman, and the women and the exemplary attitude they have shown, then we are harvesting and cultivating not only for our immediate families, for our subsequent generations. It is with strong conviction that I believe with our new generation, our young girls who are in academia right now, the opportunities that they are given, the transformation they have, I agree with the previous speakers. It is them and the spirit and the hard work that lays the hope of the Somalian women in Somalia. The Somali women have shown a level of determination that is worthy of investment of organizations and philanthropic communities to build that capacity. It is that capacity that will secure our future. You know, the pundits always say, let's get politics right. Economics will be fixed. I challenge that paradigm. I say, let's get the economics right. Let's get it right with women, because it is with that attitude that surely we will attain the peace that we are looking for. It is, you know, when we talk about the civil unrest and the difficulties that we have in Somalia and the challenges that we are facing in the last 20 years and so, it's because of loss of hope. It's the pervasive helplessness and hopelessness that is deeply entrenched in our community that is bringing around such challenges that we have, like the Al-Shabaabs and the likes. If we want to turn around this thinking and take back our country, we have to figure out how to invest in a Somalian woman. It is the Somalian woman who decides in Somalia, who gets into manufacturing, construction, technology, the ideas that she has and the vision that she has that will bring around the hope that we're looking for, that will lift our country and will bring peace. With that, I will leave because we have a trail of speakers coming up. I gave, you know, kudos to our speakers here, and when we have, you know, it is with that spirit that Ayan has formed her vision and is working towards that goal, and this is how diaspora is building back to our home country. Well, congratulations to you all, and congratulations especially our few good men who are here. Thank you.
So to my farthest right is Amran Farah. Amran is a licensed attorney practicing criminal law. She graduated from Hamlin University School of Law. Can you hold your applause until I finish all of their bios? Okay. So she graduated from Hamlin University School of Law, magna cum laude, and received her BA from the University of St. Thomas in Political Science and English. Amran has worked at both the Hennepin County Attorney's Office as well as the Hennepin County Public Defender's Office. She also serves as an extern for Chief Judge Michael Davis in the Federal District of Minnesota. She currently serves as a commissioner in the Minneapolis Police Conduct Oversight Commission and is a PAGE mentor. In the middle is Amane Badasso. Amane is a senior at Hamlin University. She's studying political science and legal studies with concentration on security. She is the current president of International Oromo Youth Association. This year, they collaborated with advocates at the Human Rights and co-authored a report that was sent to the UN Committee on Rights of the Child in regards to the human rights violations against children under 18 and recent Oromo protests. Our final panelist is Ayatu Tepeso. She's a researcher, a writer, and a communications consultant. She holds an MA in International Development from the Ohio University Center for International Studies. Her research interests include the role of the diaspora in homeland development. She currently works for the Hennepin County Department of Human Services. Now you can applaud. All right, thank you all. So we have few questions, and they've all had previously have been supplied with the questions. So hopefully we're going to have a free-flowing discussion. The first question I have for our panelists is, what does International Day mean to you, and why should it be celebrated?
Personally, I think International Women's Day is about celebrating the successes women and those that supported women in the past had, their victories, and also the fact that there's much work to be done in regards to women's rights, both domestically and internationally. So it is something that's personal because I am a woman. It is also something that we should all celebrate because it is a victory for humanity. And it just solely shows that there's a lot of work ahead, but you can't get to that point without celebrating what has been accomplished before.
To kind of echo that, I think it's both a time for celebration and also a reminder. I think it's a day that we can kind of take toll of what women have achieved and what we still have to achieve as women. The fact that we actually need to have an International Women's Day tells us that we have much to achieve as women, which is unfortunate given there's so many of us. So I think the fact being able to come in celebration and honor women all across the world for at least one day, if not every day, is needed. But also with that celebration, I think it allows us to take time to think about what we have left to achieve as women.
Okay, I'm not letting you guys go first again. I think, like they said, it's an opportunity to reflect on how far women have come in the United States, in our particular communities, since this room is like so diverse, and each of our communities have their own particular struggles and milestones. So it's an opportunity to celebrate that, and of course to reflect also on how far we have to go, and every year to make plans on how we're going to meet these national, communal goals that we have, so they don't just remain words on paper.
Thank you. All right, so we all know that, you know, in this country we've got equal rights, or we say, right? Well, we also know that every generation comes with its opportunities, right, and its own challenges. So if you were to look at yourselves and the women of now, how do you see women being a catalyst for social change in the world?
I think women being mothers, I think, are the strongest catalyst for change. The way you raise your children, the way you foster and rear your youngins makes a difference. I think for every person, man or woman, that has actually been able to bring forth change in this world, it's because they've had the opportunities and the environment to be able to flourish. And that's due to a mother, somebody, a sister, a friend, a woman who's been there to allow them to flourish and give them the opportunity to be able to reach the goals that they've done. So I think women are the catalyst for change, because when they are there to make sure that the person is able to achieve their goals. So I think regardless of what time we're at, women will always be the catalyst for change, because they are at the foremost the people that actually, you know, bring forth and develop and create our leaders for tomorrow.
I think there's so many strong women in this room. All the speakers, so many of them were just such strong women, and I love that. I think when we have strong individuals, we can have a stronger community. And I think often the burden for the family and the community tends to fall on the women. So that way women are not able to focus on their careers or education, or just even taking care of their own self, so that they may go on and make contributions. So I think if we can promote women building their own individuality, following their careers, that's a really important goal.
I think they pretty much summed up everything, but adding on to that, I think the most important thing for a woman is to acknowledge her self-worth and to be conscious of the fact that she can do absolutely anything. And with that concept, you can, whether that be political, social, or economic advancement, I think women being present and acknowledging that they can, in fact, accomplish a lot is the first step in being a catalyst for change.
Thank you. So now that we've talked about how, you know, we can envision ourselves being the catalyst of change, but you can't do that without talking about what are some of the obstacles on our way. So our next question is, what are some chains, some things that are holding us back into seeking complete equality in the world?
I think there's several of them, if not a lot. I don't know if we want to go into the details of all of them, but there's patriarchy is number one, of course, our good friend. If we can completely dismantle it, perhaps, we don't have to discuss the many other obstacles, but I think every culture is different. Every women deal with certain injustices in a very different manner, but as women, we also have a universal struggle that we must acknowledge, whether that's systematic discrimination that's based on gender, whether that comes from culture, religious, or any other sort of institutions. I think by acknowledging that we do have a universal struggle, we can move forward. And I think my other panelists can go into the details of what obstacles we have. But personally, as a young woman, coming from a culture that's very patriarchal, it has a lot to do with how you grew up. Perhaps it has a lot to do with the fact that women are meant to do a certain thing that has already been in place for her, not necessarily the thing that she wants to do. And the obstacle that I personally deal with, it's whether it's how your parents want you to be, whether it's the role that you're supposed to have as a woman. And I think it's up to the parents to empower the young women and tell them that they can do anything, but it's also a lot of culture, a lot of political issues that go into the obstacle aspect of things?
I think women's choices are still pretty much limited in the East African community. I know the East African community is very diverse. We have a lot of Somalis here. I'm an Oromo. I'm connected to the Ethiopian diaspora. And I see the way in which women still primarily their role is supposed to be a mother. We're like, oh, when are you getting married? When are you having a kid? That's great, you know, that's an important milestone in a woman's life. However, it shouldn't be presented as the most important. It's just as important if a woman chooses to put her career first and have family later on down the road. So I think these small individual, familial, community expectations really hold women back. Because in order to get through school, pursue your career, you need a lot of support. And if the community and the family isn't supporting these women, then how are they going to make it?
I think one of the biggest burdens is other women. The lack of support that women have for other women. I think we talk a lot about mentorship, but what we really need is sponsorship. So I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of women be able to sponsor me. That means somebody that's actually going to make sure that they're vested in your growth, in your leadership, to be able to say not only, hey, this is what I do and this is a job I have, but to say, do you want a job like this? I can talk to somebody and help you get that job. I think being able to, say that, oh, we have a diversity quota, or we have a, woman quota, that we need to have at least 30% of women in the boardroom. So that means, 3 women are going to vie for that one. Lack of women having this lowered expectations or feeling that they're competing with each other instead of supporting each other is one of the biggest burdens. And I think we need to start sponsoring each other as women, investing in each other's opportunities and leaderships and growth. And that's one of the biggest burdens, that we feel that, oh, I did it on my own, I got to here on my own, so you should be able to, which we shouldn't be able to put the burden and the struggle that we went through on our daughters and on the young woman.
Are we allowed to ask questions? No. What do you think are the most pressing challenges right now?
It's only fair, I suppose. For me, I think, one of the obstacles that I see as we sit here and we are celebrating women is that women are also part of, the people that are the gatekeepers when it comes to a society that is built to hold us back. And that sometimes comes from sort of what Amran was saying of like, I made it through, I'm comfortable, I'm okay, it didn't kill me, like this is how my mother did it, this is how my grandmother did it, you're gonna be fine. So it's sort of like accepting the cultural norms. And I think we need more women to say you've got permission. You can be as free as you want. You can dream as big as you want. You don't have to think yourself as less, as wanting somebody to, give you that permission. You can give yourself that permission. And I think as much as there are lots of obstacles, there's a lot of opportunities for the women that have gone through a lot of those obstacles to say that it's okay. Okay, so our next question is that, okay, so we're here, we're celebrating all of the achievements, these struggles, and all that is women. We've talked about, how we can be catalysts to change. We've talked about what are some of the chains. I don't like to live on a heavy note. So what do you think are some things to be excited about? What do you see, what did you hear tonight? What are you noticing in the world? What are, you know, some things that you're hearing from some children. I know that my 12-year-old, the way that she speaks, I'm very optimistic about what the future looks like. And so I want to hear about what are some things that are exciting you about the role of women in the next generation, and maybe later on in our generation.
Well, you guys heard the speakers. They were all phenomenal women who are doing so many great things. And I think for me, that's one of the most exciting things, is that women are, women I think have always done things to, you know, for the record. It's just that women are made invisible by a system that values men more. I think the fact that women are gaining more visibility, they're owning the platforms. Women are now editing, they're putting work out there on social media. There's so many women who are making contributions in terms of how we think about the possibilities of what women can do. So I'm really excited about that, the fact that women finally own the platforms and they own their own voices and they don't need permission and they own the table.
I think I might be overly way too excited. There's a lot of women that have completely rejected, I don't want to say completely because we still have a lot of work to do, rejected some notions of patriarchy that has crippled and dehumanized women on a global scale. So that's the first. The second is that brilliant statement of you do not need anyone's permission. I think times have changed, and I think, I'm not saying that we have overcome a lot of the obstacles, but I think we're at a point where women can take power, women can lead in all sectors. No sector is bigger or less or better than the other. Women are being present, women are voicing themselves, and women are saying that we too want the share of the bread. And I think that is absolutely powerful. And I think that's something to definitely look forward to.
I think that this generation has done very well redefining things, redefining what it means to be a successful woman, redefining what it means to be a powerful woman, and not going back to those cultural norms. And I think it's actually gone backwards, where certain women feel powerful in saying, you know what, I don't have to rush and go get a job. I don't have to find success and power in a high position. I can stay home and take care of my kids and still feel like a powerful, successful woman. And I feel like they've redefined what it means to, you know, the way you dress or the way you talk or what you do to be a powerful, successful woman. And I see my little sister and I see her little friends, and it's not about, you know, they could wear their niqabs or their jilbabs and they still feel comfortable, they still feel powerful, and they don't have any of those notions that you have to dress a certain way or you have to do certain things to be a successful, powerful woman. And I think this generation has done very well redefining, where generations before, they've had to struggle to even get to the point that they feel successful or they feel powerful, where now it's you make your own success, you make your own power. And I think that is what I find most optimistic, because we won't have to keep struggling and feeling that, you know, that woman has done it that way, so that's the way we have to do it. So we can find our own success in our own ways.
Okay, so that wraps up all the questions I had. Any parting words?
I just want to go back to what I was saying about the sponsorship, and I just want to leave one word to everybody here when you leave here, to understand that, you know, you can do something for just one other woman. She doesn't have to be a young girl. We always talk about, you know, helping the young woman, but we can help each other. You can help somebody older than you. It doesn't, just help somebody and be a sponsor for somebody and be vested in another woman's success. That's the only thing I want to say. I think if we're able to have that collaborative and we're all happy if another woman succeeds, I think that'll get us closer to not feeling that we need to have one day to celebrate our own successes.
I mean, I would like to also echo what, you know, Amran said. to have that shoulder, to have, you know, that person that says, I believe in you, and I am invested in your success, means a lot. And a lot of people have done that for me, and I'm sure it's been true for these women up here, and a lot of the women that spoke. It doesn't require a physical act, right? Like it's just knowing that somebody cares and somebody's invested, and somebody will be willing to remind you that you don't need that permission, or, you know, here's how you do something. So like empower someone to empower themselves, right? Thank you all. Round of applause for our panelists.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm just so inspired by that last panel of young women. It just warms my heart and gives me lots of faith and hope in the future, and I just want to applaud them again. Thank you for your leadership, incredible leadership. This is my second opportunity today to celebrate International Women's Day, and I just want to share again the first beginnings of International Women's Day and why we are all here in solidarity with each other. You know, there was out of a very painful beginning, there were women workers in New York who were trapped in a fire. They were locked in their manufacturing place and they could not get out. These were women workers, many of whom died. And as a result, women rose up and started demanding their rights as women workers. And that was really something that we celebrate now when we look back and we look at the labor movements. Out of some really painful suffering, there were women's rights that were won in the workplace. And as my colleague, Representative Rena Moran was mentioning earlier, we are still working to make sure that women have their rights in the workplace. We have not arrived. We still have that work to do, and we're trying to do some of that in the legislature right now. I was looking back at some of the historical facts about our equality as women, and it wasn't until 1945 in the UN Charter that there was an international agreement that women and men were equal. 1945. And so we've progressed, and the young women said it so well. But one of the things that I think we need to keep in mind is that every generation and each decade we can go forward and must go forward. We can celebrate our past achievements. We certainly need to do work into the future. And I just wanted to come by and briefly state my solidarity with the incredible leadership of the East African women in this community. I am so proud to be associated with you, to stand by you. Some of you have been over at the legislature working on a number of things. I'll just mention a couple of those things. One of them, of course, is the effort successful last year and working again this year to establish the first shelter for East African women for domestic violence protection that will be opening in St. Paul. And Farhio Khalif, I believe is here, although I have not seen her. Okay. I also want to thank Saido for working on right now on the the Community Center for Youth, and we're working very hard to try to see if we can't bring that forward. Incredible leadership. Thank you for that work that you are doing. And I was happy tonight to see the Woman Child Safe Center. And I just want to put out a strong word of support for this center. I still have some more to learn about it, but it's exactly the kind of initiative that we need. So I'm just here basically to express my own solidarity with this community and to thank you for letting me be part of you. It's been wonderful and a privilege to represent so many of you. Mahad Senate.
Representative Karen Clark. Okay, so I'm going to transition to speaking in Somali. We're getting towards the end of the program, and I want to share a few words and bring possibly one of our final speakers. Assalamu alaikum. In Somalia, maalinta oo dumarka aad loogu dabaaldegi jiray. haddii YouTube aad tagtid waxaa helaysaa videoyaal badan oo gabayaal iyo geeraaryo loo suubiyey dad oo dabaaldeg weyn suubsanaya ilaa ay hadeertaan Soomaaliya meel kasta aad ka joogteed dabaaldeg weynaa laga suubiyaa wax weyn ay ahaan jirtay laakiin aniga YouTube iyo la inaan ka fiirsada maahin ee historygeeda ma aqaani ma xasuusti koodii markii igu horeysay waaya u maleynaya oo aan isku dayay inaan raadiyo marka laakiin dad baa joogo oo si fiican u yaqaano oo ka qayb qaatay oo iyaga ahaa dadkii heesooyinka iyo u suubin jiray oo maalintaas ay dabaaldegooda suubin jiray marka waxaan rabaa inaan ku soo dhaweeyo fanaanad weyn hadda ay noo fanaannimada inay ka retire garaysay laakiin weligan aniga saasa u kasi doonaa cadar kaahin cadar hadda waxay u shaqaysaa well share international marka maam cadar soo dhawow
inkastoona ku soo talagelin dadku markay doonayeen inay yaxyaxa iska biyo waxay yidhahdeen inkastoona ku soo talagelin arrintan laakiin haddana bal waxoogaa hadallaa baan ka odhanayaa waan salaamay mudanayaal iyo marwooyin waxaan leeyahay ku soo dhawaada maalintayada 8 maarso haddaan nahay haweenka caalamka ragga martida noo ana aad iyo aad baan u salaamayaa ragga intii fariidiinta ahayd baa noo timi intii kale waxay leeyihin maxaanu maalinta haweenka ka doonaa waxaadse ku tidhaahdaa xilligii haweenkaa la marayaa markaa ku soo dhawaada farxad bay noo tahay anigu sheeko yar baan idinka sheekaynayaa waddankeennii hooyo waad og tihiin dawladdeennii la dhisay inay oday dhaqameedyaal ay soo diyaariyeen oo dawladdii ay saa ku dhiseen anigu halkan waxaan ka sameeyay dawlad goboleedka aan halkan ka sameeyey waxaa soo diyaariyey habar dhaqameedka Soomaaliyeed miyaanan marun waxba samaynaynin waliba waa idin sheegaya waxaad gashaan libanshow dawlad goboleed 1 dawlad goboleed 2 wasiiradiina qaar baan hadda eriyay jagooyin baan naga bannaan hadda marka dawladdan in yar idinka sheekaynaya dawladdu waa 4 wasiir ayay ahaayeen hal wasiir baanu ku soo darnay hadda waayo wasaaradda tacliintaan jirin waxaanu ku soo darnay wasaaradda tacliinta galaasyo badan bay markaa leedahay iskuulka waxaa ka mid ah galaaska buraanburka laga barto ka oodkaca laga jaro ayaa jira marka waa 5 wasiir iyo baarlamaanka raggu way ku jiraan laakiin wasiirada xabad kama aan siinin waayo xaqay nagu qadiyeen iyaguba waxay sameeyeen hadda mooshin bay soo jeediyeen waa dawladdii islaamaha waa dawladdii yaa ama taqana militariga waxa ciyaal say wallahi ciyaalkaynu halkan ku kornay aynu halkan ku dhalnay xirad waa facebooka marka dawladdaasaan inoo sameeyey haddaynu nahay haweenka caalamka oo dhan baa runtii way soo balay garan kartay Soomaali u badan tahay gobollada waxaa sharcigu ogol yahay 2 gobol iyo wixii ka badan annaga 5 gobol baan samaysanay waa 24ka waa Karameel waa Madiina Mall waa Global waxaasoo dhan baa inoo ah oo dawlad goboleed ka dhiganay marka waxaa la isku qabsaday madaxweynihii islaam waliba maadaama ay rag minority bay meesha ku yihiin power badan kuma laha waayo wasiir ma laha iyagu marka islaam waliba waxay soo diyaarsay odageedu inuu madaxweyne noqdo waa la isku diiday marka ilaa hadda madaxweyne ma laha laakiin afayeen buu leeyahay dawladdaasaan inoo sameeyey ku soo dhawaada caawa qof kaleba YouTube-ka ka daawo libanshow dawladdaas waad soo balay garan kartaa jagooyin baa ka bannaan wasiirka warfaafinta jagadaas way bannaan tahay wasiirka maaliyadda jira oo wasiirka warfaafinta jira wasiirka caafimaadka jira wasiirka maaliyaddu maaliyad badan anagu ma lihin waxaan samaynay 4 wasiir kaliya tawaayo waxa iska yar budgetka waa ayuuto wasiirka caafimaadku dawooyin buu wataa ambalaas buu wataa dawooyin xabaasuud iyo muxuu ahaa xabatal sawda ayaa ugu badan maadaama aan waayeelkeeni la soo guurnay marka waxaan idin leeyahay idinka dhabqin caawa daawanaysaan homeworkin waa caawa oo libanshow daawataan ku soo dhawaada 8 maarso anoo ku hadlaya magaca haweenka aduunka mise Soomaaliyeed baan dhahay aduunka oo dhanba laakiin waxa la yidhi geela haddaan quwadiisa laga qarinin wuu ina jiiri lahaa quwadeeni baa la inaga qariyay ragga inaga ka adag ragga inaga dhalay ragga inaga nigitay inuu xidhna muraayadu raggu isku daawada inuu qurux badan waa inaga marka ogaada adduunkan inaga xukunna way iska keen badawsanayaan hal habeen hadaynu guryaha ka xidhna gaas iyo biyaha isku darayaan barigi hore waxaynu oran jiray nabal arintaas inay dhab tahay in kale nabal ragga inaga soo weydiiya hadda waxa ma weydiino xaliimo what do you think arintaas anaga is weydiina wax kasta barigi hore inaga hubsada la oran jiray arintan inay raggi ma weydiisan hadda raggu iyaga waxina weydiinaya adduunkeeni baynu joognaa quwadeena laga qari awalba inaga un baa wadnay inaga awalba ka adkayn way isma ogin wayna badawsada way naga nixiyeen shawcadkooda way baynu mooday inay naga adagin xabad naga ma adka ku soo dhawaada 8 maarso 8 maarso wallahi billahi tallahi mirqaan midhan bay ahaan jirtay 8 maarso te anagu barigi hore dawladii kacaanka ahayd ayaanu ahaan jiray haweenku waxay iska lahaayeen urur dhanba iska lahaayeen guriga hooyooyinka iska lahaayeen oo tiyaatarka ka soo horjeeda yaani caalam ajiib aanu ahaan jiray inkastoo raggu naqaxiyeen markii dambe anagoo iska alxamdulillah waxa looga waa la mari jiray haweenka ciidanka haweenka dhakhaatiirta haweenka wax walba yaani heer sare la ahaan jiray
siday tiri waa runteed xoog badan aan leenahay khibradeenana waa weyn tahay sidaad maanta u aragteen dumarka haweeneydii inta soo koray caawa oo hadlay haddeertaana waxaan rabaa in aan u waco hodan helo hodan helo waa community activist community organizer waxayna u imaatay in ay represent garayso Senator Amy Klobuchar oo aan nala soo qaybgali weysay caawo oo soo dirtay waraaq ay noogala hadasho Senator Amy Klobuchar saa u ogtihiin waxaa u shaqeeyay walaalkeen Siyaad laakiin caawo waxaan qabnay sharci oo la dhahayo rag looma ogola stage-kan inay soo koraan marka maanta asiga shaqadiisii wuxuu u gudbiyay in walaashiis hodan heelo ay u represent garayso so hodan heelo soo dhawow
waxaan aad ugu mahadcelinayaa dadkii soo qaban qaabiyey xafladan quruxda badan dumarka ahaa I think intooda badan waa dumar also waxaan aad ugu mahadcelinayaa all the powerful women in the room whether you were up here speaking or not there is a lot of power that lies within each and every one of you without further ado, I don't think I had a speaking part. I only had to read a letter from Amy Klobuchar. Siad was supposed to, Siad was supposed to read this, and Siad, I'll be sending you an invoice for reading your letter tonight. Dear friends, thank you for inviting me to join you in celebrating International Women's Day. Though my schedule prevents me from joining you in person, I share your dedication to honoring the achievement of women who make difference in their communities and throughout the globe. As a mother, wife, and the first female to be elected to represent Minnesota in the United States Senate, I am aware of the crucial role that women play as leaders in all walks of life. I am proud of the work that the Women Child Safe Center does to serve women in our communities by connecting them with resources to help them to not only help them better their life, but those in their families as well. Honoring the hard work and dedication of those women improves the opportunity for other women to know they can influence communities both locally and globally. Thank you again for your invitation and for taking the time to host this important event. I am very proud to serve you as the United States Senator, and I look forward to continuing to advocate for women in the Senate. Sincerely, Amy Klobuchar.
waxaad moodaa sida maanta loogu magacaabay maalinta haweenka iyo sida haweenka meesha uga maqan yihiin meeshina waxa soo buuxshay 80% rag kaliya ragga maanta waxay ahayd sabtidii xadda ayaga caruurta ku qornaa I don't know waxay soo dooneen taasna waxa weeye ficil yacni gabdhaha ay u jiidanayaan inaysan meesha ka muuqan waa dhaliil ay u raadinayaan dumarka way soo wada dhuunteen waxaan jeclaan lahayn axadda ama jimcaha sabtida iyo axadda in maalinta maarso haday ku aada hadda kadib aanay ragga naga soo qayb galin taana waan idinka codsanaynaa soo dira haweenka guriga aad ku reebteen 8 maarso waa maalinta qiimo badan haweenka aduunka aad uga qiimo badan annaga markaan Soomaaliya joognay shaqooyinka waa nala fasaxi jiray macallin wasaaradda waxbarashada u shaqeeyaan ahaa waa nala fasaxi jiray runtii dawladda Mareykanka maanta waxay ahayd inay nafasaxda haday ka sheegayso run 8 maarso waayo wali haween baa shaqeynaya maanta Sunday ay tahay waxay ahayd maanta in la fasaxo haweenka taana waxay ka mid tahay xuquuqda aan u doodayno sanad dambe in qof haweeney aanay shaqayn maalinta Saturday iyo Sunday haddii ay noogu toosto iyo weekendka oo weekdays ko kale waanu ka soo horjeednaa taana waa ka mudaahiraadayna haddii alla yiraahdo in la siiyo maalinta fasax waliba nala baygareeyo waa xuquuqda naga maqan ayay ka mid tahay second waxaa jirtay hadda ka hor qiso aan idinka sheekaynayo cadar waxay tiri waxa la isku haystaa xafiiska madaxweynaha cadar u sheega waxa la isku haystaa oo kale xafiiskii xanta iyo xasarada meeshii laga furi lahaa cadar taasna waa la isku haystaa cidi madaxweyne noqon lahayd way noo caddahay madaxweyne waa noo diyaar haddii aynu nahay haweenka cadar waynu ka shirnay garan maayo cidda ay rabto inay baarlamaanka u shiriso ay u inqilaabto taasna waa dood kale waan idin salaamaynaa haweenweynaha waxaan leenahay 8 maarso ha noolaato haweenka adduunka ha noolaato meel walba aad joogtaan caafimaad baan idin rajaynaynaa xuquuqdiinana halka ay ku jirto waa taqaanaanee ka raadiya yaanan laga habsaamin ha lagu dheereeyo waayo waxyaabo aynan qaban karin ma jirto raggo ay qabtaan isla markaasna waxaan rabnaa qofkii socdoo dhanba inaan isku dhereerino nin alla ninkii soo socda inaan isla dhinac taagno oon isku dhereerino marka sidaa daraaddeed haweenka waxaan leedahay haweenweynaha adduunka hambalyo kuwa gaar ahaaneed soomaalida haweenkooda waa howlkar waa codkar waa haween midaysan waa haddana kuwa dhibaatada mar walbaba haysata ka badbaada oo ka dabaasha waxaan leenahay taasna hambalyo mar labaad haweenka Soomaaliyeed salaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatu
bismillaahi raxmaani raxiim وبه نستعين على أمور الدنيا والدين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد aad ayaa u mahadsantihiin xafladda saa uga soo qayb gasheen anigu waxaan ku qornahay inaan gunaanado haddii ilaahay idmo waxaan mahad gaara aan u wada celinaynaa walaasheen ayaan ciise oo intaan isugu wada keentay oo wada professional ah oo rag iyo dumar ah xafladdan maasha Allah aad bay u qurux badan tahay waad mahadsantihiin iyadoo axada oo berrito business day ah la wada shaqo ina wada sugaysa ilaa saacadan aad joogtaan aad baa u mahadsantihiin thank you very much waxaanan u dabaaldegaynaa 8 March waa maalintii hooyooyinka iyo haweenka adduunka innagana waa ka mid baan nahay waa mahadsantihiin thank you salaamu calaykum